Good, happy Saturday morning. It's Saturday, June 19, 2021. I'm Riley King, and welcome to this morning news update right here on the Riley King Radio Network. Let's get started now. First up, enhanced federal unemployment benefits end Saturday in New Hampshire. New workers can apply for one-time bonuses. Let's take a listen to that video from WMUR News 9.
A lot goes into taking care of your property. You need equipment with more reliability, durability.
Despite this move, people still can apply for state unemployment benefits. $300 a week in federal unemployment benefits will be gone as of Saturday. Some Granite Staters are questioning the decision.
I don't understand it at all because it's not taking away from anything else in the state.
Matt Parker says he was laid off from his software job at the beginning of the pandemic and that his son recently passed away. He says the weekly checks helped him through a tough time.
Having the federal program really was a godsend.
The state says about 8,500 people will be affected by the expiring benefits. Kira Ireland says she had to quit her job after getting COVID, which led to other health issues.
People would say, oh, well, you're getting a handout. Well, I still wasn't making the same amount of money that I was making if I was actually working.
Officials are trying to spur interest in the workforce and help businesses struggling with staffing by offering a summer stipend of $1,000 for full-timers and $500 for part-timers after working for 8 weeks.
This is a once-in-a-lifetime type of market that we see right now with the incentives that are being offered. So really no reason to not get out there and find that job that you've been looking for.
The state's unemployment rate is down to 2.5%, one of the lowest in the country.
It is an employee's market, so to say. Employees can really dictate the terms, if you will, for a lot of different opportunity.
Since announcing last month that the federal benefits would expire this weekend, the state says about 10,000 people have gotten off unemployment and back into the workforce. In Manchester, Mike Cronin, WMUR News 9.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. Big crowds round out the 98th Annual Motorcycle Week. Officials say crowds return after pandemic made for a smaller event last year. Let's take a listen to that video from WMUR News 9.
A lot goes into taking care of your property. You need equipment with more reliability,
Certainly the biggest crowds I've seen in the last few years.
The 98th Laconia Motorcycle Week is ending on a strong note. Laconia Police Chief Matt Canfield says the crowd started flooding into Lakeside Ave on Friday and have remained throughout the week.
The first weekend was very busy, and certainly today is looking like it's ramping up to be very busy, and we anticipate it being busy the rest of the weekend.
There's a lot of bikes coming in from every direction.
Jennifer Anderson is the deputy director of the Laconia Motorcycle Week Association. She says it's nice to see old friends again, people who couldn't make it last year because of COVID-19.
You can feel the energy of everyone, the positivity all week long. People are so grateful to be able to actually be out.
Although the 97th Motorcycle Week still went on last year, it was held on a much smaller scale because of state mandates. But this year, those mandates are gone. And Anderson says that is attracting more people, which also brings some much-needed financial relief to local businesses.
We're talking about a boost to the economy that's over $100 million on average each year.
And when the 98th Motorcycle Week comes to an end on Sunday, planning for next year and beyond begins.
So we're planning for the next 2 years because we've got the 99th next year, and then, of course, the big 100th anniversary in 2023.
And Laconia Motorcycle Week is actually the oldest motorcycle rally in the world, so you can bet that 100th anniversary celebration will be a big one. Reporting in Laconia, I'm Tim Callery, WMUR News 9.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. One more Granite Stater dies of COVID-19 as cases remain steady.
As we ease back into life with friends and family, Mahindra is here to help on the good day.
Tonight, DHHS reporting 25 new cases of COVID-19 and 1 new death. Active cases are still at 265. 19 people are hospitalized. With today's update, none of New Hampshire's counties are seeing substantial spread of COVID-19. Sullivan County is now in the moderate range, and Coos County is down in the minimal range.
Woman jumps from balcony to escape burning home in Merrimack. 2 firefighters injured while battling the fire. Let's take a listen to that video from WMUR News 9.
A lot goes into taking care of your property. You need equipment with more reliability, durability.
This is all that's left of the home at Two Shore Drive Extension on Babusick Lake today after a fire ripped through the roof Thursday evening. Drone video capturing the scene as firefighters work to assess the situation.
Initial call came in shortly before 7. First arriving crews found heavy fire conditions in a log-type home right on the lakefront, right on Babusick Lake.
Initial reports said someone may have been inside the home.
They made a rapid entry over a ladder onto the second floor in an attempt to do a search, but were almost immediately chased out by the fire.
Around that same time, Merrimack Fire says they learned everyone evacuated, including a woman who jumped from a second-story balcony and was rescued by a boater. She was taken to the hospital, and her grandson tells News 9 she's expected to be okay.
When we are able to confirm that everybody's out, that's our key objective checked off right there.
Merrimack Fire says the volume of the fire and narrow access made it difficult to fight, and at one point getting adequate water was an issue.
A large amount of debris apparently got flushed out of the water main and was trapped in the intake screen on our fire engine. It blocked the water coming in, so we had to just make alternative arrangements. But we were able to use the hydrants in the area once we got that cleared up.
And a couple of firefighters were taken to the hospital. They were treated and released for exhaustion and minor burns. The cause of the fire is under investigation. In Merrimack, Jessica Moran, WMUR News.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. Rye Harbor dredging complete, allowing boats to pass easily. Let's take a listen to that video from WMUR News 9.
Tractor has been in our family since 1955, when great-grandfather Pearlie and our grandfather George decided to...
Commercial fishermen can now come and go from Rye Harbor when they need to. Charter boats can keep their schedules, and keels won't get stuck after the Army Corps of Engineers finished dredging this spring.
It wasn't uncommon to see a boat in the middle of the channel, sitting on the bottom, waiting for the tide to lift it so it could get past that high spot.
Silt builds up over about 20 years. It's been 30 since Rye was last dredged. Senator Jeanne Shaheen taking a tour today after pushing it through a backlog of projects among small ports and harbors on the East Coast.
It revitalizes the harbor. It had to happen, and it wouldn't have happened without Senator Shaheen.
Judd is actually being much too modest, because what really got our attention was when he I think called and left me a message that he was sending a petition with over 500 names of people who wanted to see this harbor dredge.
It's actually 2 down and 1 to go. Senator Shaheen shepherding a dredging effort in Seabrook and Hampton Harbor, now Rye, and next is a ship turning basin in the Piscataqua River.
The turning basin is 800 feet in diameter, and our state pilots are turning 764-foot-long ships in that turning basin.
Senator Shaheen says an infrastructure package in the works in Washington includes a piece providing additional support for small ports and harbors.
Hopefully that will go through. We'll get some additional funding and make sure that we don't have to wait another 30 years. When we need to dredge this harbor again, the funding will be there.
In Rye, Jennifer Crompton, WMUR News 9.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. Canadian safety officials, U.S.-Canada border restrictions extended to July 21. Restrictions have been in place for nearly 15 months. Meet Opla Lee, the Juneteenth grandmother of the movement. Let's take a listen to that video from ABC News.
This is what you've been waiting for.
Let's go.
Disney
Plus, were heroes and villains.
1939. And so finally tonight, America Strong, the grandmother of Juneteenth. Tonight, Americans across the country honoring Juneteenth. Volunteers planting flowers in Pittsburgh. Students gathering at the Capitol in Madison, Wisconsin. Juneteenth is the first federal holiday to be named since Martin Luther King Jr. Day in 1983, and it remembers Freedom Day for American slaves, when federal troops set free the last remaining slaves in America in Galveston, Texas, who had no idea they had been freed years before. And one of the Americans fighting for decades for this recognition, 94-year-old Opal Lee from Fort Worth, Texas. Her home was set on fire by white rioters on Juneteenth, 1939. And so for years now, Opal Lee has been walking 2.5 miles on Juneteenth, raising awareness for the 2.5 years it took for news of freedom to reach all the slaves. Speaking before lawmakers, petitioning Congress, delivering more than 1.5 million signatures to make it a holiday. Even walking an astonishing 1,400 miles from her home in Fort Worth, Texas to Washington, D.C. for 4 months to plead her case.
I'm really a little old lady in tennis shoes getting in everybody else's business, and I'm having a good time doing it, too.
And this week, when President Biden signed Juneteenth into law, Opal Lee was right there. Kamala Harris, the first black vice president, holding her hand. The president inviting her to the White House, kneeling before her.
She's made it her mission to see that this day came, to make this day possible.
Tonight, Opal Lee and her message.
I just know that the time has come for us to work together.
Sure has. An amazing woman. And be sure to watch tonight, Juneteenth, Together We Triumph, a Soul of a Nation special event. It airs tonight at 9 p.m. Eastern here on ABC. I'm Wade Johnson in New York. Have a great night.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. And that does it for this morning news update right here on the Riley King Radio Network. Have a wonderful Saturday, everyone. See you back here later on today for another news update. Goodbye.